3, 2, 1.
International superstar, Miss Butter B.
You are now tuned in to Butter Bee Rocker on Transparency Talks Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Transparency Talks Podcast. I am your girl, Butterby Rocker. Listen, we have an amazing show for you today. I'm super excited to be speaking to this young lady. She's right up my alley, in my lane. Music all day. I could talk about this all day, every day. So anyway, would you guys please help me welcome Miss ShySpeaks? She is a Grammy Award-winning indie hip-hop artist and spoken word artist.
What up? What's up?
How you doing?
Hey, I didn't hear you say it one more time for me.
I said, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. How about you?
I am doing great. I'm super excited to speak to you. My show talks to entertainers because artists, because that's of course my lane, but I also talk to different entrepreneurs, and I haven't had artists on the show in a while, so it's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and hello to everybody as well. I hope you all are doing wonderful and gonna be feeling even better as we get into this conversation.
Absolutely. So what I want to do is take it back a little bit, and can you tell everybody a little bit about your background? Where you're from?
So I am from Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Very proud Dallas native. I'm from a little part in Dallas that you guys probably know may have heard of, called Oak Cliff. That's my hood. But yeah, I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised, came out of a musical family. And so all of my aunts, they play instruments and sing, and my cousins and all of them, everybody can either sing or play an instrument or both. And so I learned very on about music, my love for music, and I had to discover my gift and my talent within it. And so all of it kind of is like a part of my origin story, my introduction to music. And then if you fast forward a little bit, I found my voice as like a speaker and a spoken word artist and a poet, and fast forward a little bit further, I find a way to kind of blend them all, and now you have ShySpeaks.
Okay. I was going to ask you how did you get the name ShySpeaks?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So my name is Shy. So it's not like a stage. Shy is not a stage name. Shy is just my regular name. ShySpeaks is the stage name because it seems like it would come out of something really deep, but a friend of mine was saying like, hey, you need an email to like kind of conduct all of your business oriented stuff out of, right? So like that way when people won't have to reach out to you on your personal and and I was like, okay, I don't know what my email needs to be. And he was like, this is in the beginning. And he was like, well, make it about what you do, and he was like, so whether you rapping or whether you're talking or whether you're always speaking, you ShySpeaks. And so he didn't say that, but that's kind of what we came to on the call. And I loved it because it's an oxymoron, and it's really like my testimony, so to speak, because I'm technically naturally shy, I think. And then through time, through God, through boldness, through maturity, I've developed an ability, a boldness to be able to speak. And so the oxymoron, the business piece, it all go together for what we're talking about right now. Yeah.
Okay. I actually find that most artists are shy. Well, I can speak for myself. I'm shy until I'm on stage.
You're right.
And then on stage, we're a whole different beast.
It's like, well, it's time to do this. So there's no, yeah. That is interesting. A lot of artists some of them have outgoing personalities, but a lot of artists are like, and then they're like, and then your family is like, hey, do that thing that you know how to do. Get up and sing. Get up and
Oh
do
my
it.
God.
And then you're like,
Yes.
okay. So then you do it, you know. So yeah, that's true.
So you did come from a musical background, as you had stated.
Yes.
So at what point did you realize, this is something that I really want to do as a career for myself?
I was actually in college, getting ready to graduate with my master's, and I was like, I would just kind of let me say this. I started doing music in artistry and performing from theater to music to poetry to dance, all of that kind of stuff when I was a little girl. By
Okay.
the time I got to high school, I stopped because I said I want to go to college and I want to focus on growing as a woman. I want to grow professionally. I want to not just worry about my gifts and talents and just shy that sings, shy that rap, shy that dude. I want to know more about myself aside from that. So I went to college and I said I'm gonna set that aside, and if it's meant for me, I'll pick that back up later, right?
Mhm.
And so I would do it though. I wouldn't doing it professionally, but I would just kind of do it because it was therapeutic for me. And so I would rap or around the house when my friends are around, or I'll write. And then sometimes I'll write and I'll be like, what you think about what I wrote? And people will be like, oh my goodness, this is really good, right? And so I'm like, okay, they just saying that these are my friends. And so then sometimes I'll accidentally find myself singing and rapping in public, and people will be like, you need to be doing this professionally. And then one day, one of my friends, he said this. He said, you have the ability to speak a language to people that other people cannot speak, which means you have the ability to reach people in a way that other people can't reach them. And what you can do with words and wordsmith and rhythm and cadence and poetry and song is a language. And so I was getting ready to graduate and I was like, okay, I can either contribute to the bottom line of a company,
Mm-hmm.
and which I want to do. I think this is the whole thing I want to. But then it was like, or I can contribute to the bottom line of culture, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to have at the end of my legacy, what did you contribute to culture? What did you contribute directly to people? And so because of that, I decided to start like, okay, it's time for me to start speaking that language to reach that group of people. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's an awesome story.
thank you.
Okay. So you're an indie artist, but you are also a Grammy award winning indie artist. Most people don't have that. So can you tell us about that experience?
Right, I'm over here
What
feeling like, oh,
songs,
like why
everything.
you telling the people, just put hip hop artists, take the Grammy India.
Girl,
But
that's
it is true.
major.
I am an
That is
independent
major.
artist, and I have won a Grammy. I actually have this line that I say. It's I was in a freestyle and I said somebody like it was this freestyle a group, and somebody said, I said Lecrae won a Grammy, I dug you like it was mine, like some yeah, and I say that because um later on I wound up doing a record with the same artist who I mentioned, saying like, hey, there what I was in the song I was talking about clapping for other people who are awarded for their contribution. And
Right.
I'm like, hey, they won a Grammy. I dug it like it was mine.
Mhm.
And then later on, I do a record with that same person. Well, we win a Dove Award for that album. And I'm also on Kirk Franklin's album as an MC as well. And that won a Grammy as well. And so I'm actually a Grammy and Dove Award winning MC. It's something else. You
Yeah,
are right. Yes.
that's nice.
But it came. I wanted to mention a part about me saying the song about how I won the Grammy. I dug it like it was mine. I didn't get those things because I was trying to, hey, let me get on so I can get my own. I literally was clapping
Mm-hmm.
and being proud and being happy for what somebody else has. In some kind of way, it came to me. So yeah.
I love it. What I found in this industry is a lot of people aren't really happy for each other. And I feel like if you could do it, that's just motivation to say that that's room, that I could do it too. And I do
Exactly.
find that some people, a lot of people are out for self, and it's cool to be out for self. I mean, I get you trying to go to a different level and everything, but there's room at the top for everybody because there's so many different lanes that you can go into.
Right. It really is. That's so true. And I think that's part of the thing that I'm passionate about, which is like not the piece of helping people applaud others, which I do have a song that helps people do that. The song's called bomb.com. If you feel like you're struggling with how to like encourage other people, listen to that. But I'm talking about the piece of like helping artists realize that there is space and there's a lane
Yep.
and there's available for them. Like this, we live in the like in the gap. We're on a planet in the galaxy. So much space out here available. If there's enough space for the fish and the birds and the eagles and the this and the that, and they all have their own space, there is enough space for you.
Yep.
And so I think that people will be much happier about applauding for other people's space if they recognize that and that they have their own, nurture and water your own space. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, who are some of your musical influences?
Oh, good question. Okay, so I would say Missy Elliott,
Yeah.
Lauren Hill.
Yes.
It's got to start with the ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eminem,
Okay.
uh, India Ari.
Mm-hmm.
I had to give you a non-rapper. She probably influences my thought process and my approach to art probably the most, just because I like what she does when how she takes positivity and spirituality and
Mm-hmm.
she makes it commercially viable for
Mm-hmm.
people to consume. So it's really like, there's hope. That's really like a song about hope and
Right.
everything. And so anyway, I love that. India Ari. Um, yeah, that's enough. That gives you a good
That's a
that
good
give you
mix.
a good blend of what I got going on here.
Yeah,
So
that
yeah,
definitely gives you a good mix. So, who's on your playlist right now? Your first person that you would go to when you need that whatever.
Alex Isley. Listen, Alex Isley is everything for me. She don't miss. She just doesn't miss. Like
Yeah.
I've never heard a bad song from Alex Isley.
Okay.
And so if you are not familiar with her and you want to be on the vibe that I'm on, I'm telling you, go get in there. It's real smooth. It's calm. It's like soul. Are it's it relaxes me.
Okay.
Alex Isley.
Okay. So, do you think the spoken word needs or does not get the attention it deserves in the spotlight?
I think that it has gone. I would say yes, but then I would have to say no because there are times that it has gotten and garnered the attention that it needs, and then there are times that it's not. So it ebbs and flows. Like during the era of like Def Comedy Jam, there was
Mhm.
like Def Poetry. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a thing as well. So I won't say. And then there are poets in autumn. They're going on tour, and then there is times where you're not hearing enough about poets, but you see sprinkles of it through Kendrick Lamar
Mhm.
or J. Cole or like Jill Scott. And if you even go further back, even Tupac and how he showed forth how poetry was important. So you see sprinkles of like the appreciation of poetry, but spoken word in of itself is like it's it's powerful. It has landed Common, for example, at the White House doing spoken
Mhm.
word, or he was able to do spoken word in an all-star game, even all the way up until this to the I think there was the young lady, I can't think of her name. She's a
Mhm.
poet
With the Obamas.
with the oh my goodness, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it
I
gets
remember her
it's
name, but yes.
yeah, and right now I can't. As soon as I get off the phone, I'm probably going to remember it. And so it just gets its moments, I think.
Mhm.
But I think that every time poetry or even in spoken word is presented, it's always in the most regal places, the White House, the you know what I mean. So I like that, but it could get more. I think there could
Mhm.
be more. I think
Mhm.
we need to research. I mean, stand up comedy is still going, but we don't have like because there was a time when they had verses and flow.
Mhm.
We don't have that anymore. So I think stuff like that could get a little bit more, but I won't say totally no.
Okay. So, what inspires you to write? Is it your life experiences, the media, or what gets you to writing?
I write when I have something to say.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's a saying that says a fool speaks when he wants to say something. A wise person speaks when they have something to say. And so whenever I have a message that I want to deliver, like I am a conscious artist, I'm a message driven artist. So
Mhm.
whenever I have something to say, the inspiration to write comes automatically. Now, I do this for a living. This is a profession. So I don't have time to wait on inspiration. I have to keep this going all the time. So I write regularly for the form of expression. But when
Mhm.
I really want to write, it's when I have something to say.
Mhm.
And that kind of comes through lived experiences and having passions and convictions or compassion for things in life that I want to express.
Mhm.
But on a regular, I kind of keep the pen sharp because I just do like these things called free lunch Fridays. I
Mhm.
make sure I do it once a quarter. Free lunch Fridays is a quarterly rap series that I put out. It comes out in the season, and I make myself say, grab an industry beat and just rap over it, right? And so I keep my pen fresh that way. I do voiceovers. And so when people ask me to do a voiceover, they'll say, oh, I heard that you're a poet. Can you take this script and like make it, so then I get to use my pen there and I get to write in that way. Or sometimes I offer poetic scripting. So I
Mhm.
write regularly because it's what I do for a profession. I write
Mhm.
for expression, and I also write from a therapeutic standpoint, like in the mornings and stuff like that. I write my prayers or I journal. So I just keep the pen going. So
Right. Okay. Well, you just mentioned about your free lunch Friday. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? How did you get it started? How can people join? All that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So Free Lunch Fridays came about because I wanted to have. I think I actually launched it during the pandemic. I mean, it was a great way for me to keep the engagement with my audience and to even expand to a new audience
Mhm.
by putting out content. And so the content that I would put out would be rap. I would freestyle, and I'm like, okay, I can't just rap over a beat. When am I gonna? I need to be doing it while I'm doing something that I have to. Like, if it's gonna be regular, it has to take place during something that I do regularly. And the only thing that I do regularly is eat. No, but I do a lot regularly. But one of the things I do is eat, but I eat pretty healthy, clean. Some people don't like that terminology, but I really tend towards healthy fare, like vegan and vegetarian options. So you know what? On Friday, I'm gonna go get my food that I would eat. I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna throw on the beat. We're gonna have some good eats, and I'm gonna go in on both, right? And we'll release this content. And not only will I will freestyle over the beat or come up with songs, whatever rhythmically. I will also make sure that I give at least 2 to 3 lunches out on Friday. So anytime somebody listens to the content, they like it, they share it with whoever, they tag people in the comments, I enter those people into a raffle to
Mhm.
automatically win lunch on me. So not only do you get free lunch Fridays, you get the beats, you get the good eats, and you might just win some free food on me. So it was a way for me to give, right? Give
Mhm.
back as well. So it's
Okay.
crazy. It's one of my favorite things to do.
So you said you started this during COVID, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're still doing it now.
I'm still doing it. Yeah, I actually came up with the idea prior to COVID, right?
Okay.
So prior to COVID, I said I was going to be going into the restaurants, but because of COVID, a while ago, I just said that I go and I go get my food, right? I have to go get the food, or I go order it, I pick it up, or I get it delivered, or whichever way I get it, and I get my food. It's usually something vegan or vegetarian, and we go in. So that's the what changed it during the pandemic
Mhm.
was the just the whole I couldn't go into the restaurants or probably shouldn't just be out and about like that. And so it was perfect.
Okay. So what time does that start at? 12?
Yeah,
1?
that happens on Fridays. So a new season drops every quarter, and
Mhm.
it I usually drop them around 11, somewhere between 11 and 12 because that's lunchtime to me.
Okay.
And so yeah, on Fridays between 11 and 12, head over to my Instagram page. That's at ShySpeaks. You can find it. And of course, I drop them on YouTube as well so that people can go back and digest them later. So, yeah.
Okay. So you treat the words artist, advocate, and activist as one and the same. Why is that?
Oh man. I think it's important for us to be one, right?
Mhm.
People say you have to be one thing, but I think you just need to be one. I think you need to be one as in be whole. And
Mhm.
so I don't need I want to live my life in such a way to where I am always being my most authentic self. And
Mhm.
on a regular basis, I care about artistry.
Mhm.
I care about I'm like I really have a heart for like injustices, not just because now all of a sudden people have a heart for injustice. I hate to be the person that be like, y'all bandwagoning, but whenever they come on, I'm happy that they're here. But when I say injustice, not just racial, but even like gender inequalities, right? So
Mhm.
with the pay disparities that we see between men and women, some of the rights and things that women don't necessarily have to have just because of the gender,
Mhm.
I think that yeah, I mean I can go on and on, and so I'm usually vocal about those things. Again, I shy speak, and then lastly, like I feel like I need to be advocating for the thing. So we could spend a lot of time like trying to bash what we don't like,
Mhm.
or we could spend time advocating for what we want to see more of. And I
Mhm.
think that's what I tend to do. So I treat the words artist, advocate, activist, artist, advocate, activist, all like they one adjective. Actually, I actively play acrobats with these alphabets.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just because it's just for it's me. I'm one. My music is message driven. My poetry is message driven. So when I'm saying something, it may be artistry and activism at the same time. That some people will say I'm like an artivist. I've actually been invited to perform at quite a few artivist concerts because they feel like my music kind of fits there. And so
Mhm.
it's just authentic. I'm one person and I'm all that in one.
So we're both females in a male dominating world,
Yeah.
especially in the music industry. How do you handle that?
Uh First of all, I show up and I be great.
Right?
So therefore, even if you decided or if you wanted to be male chauvinistic or undermining, you'd have to just think twice because it's like this person is just does what they do well, right?
Mhm.
So I do that, but I think that there's a certain level of respect that we shouldn't have to show up and be great for.
Yeah.
We should just get because we're human, and so I don't overly try to exude my femininity, my womanness, right? And I think that kind of comes out sometimes in what we see in women who are more, especially with rap. Right? I'm a rapper, right? So women who are more sexualized in their content, exuding their feminine prowess, their sexuality, and so therefore you're leading with your gender, so to speak. I
Mhm.
don't feel like I need to do that for you to respect the fact that I am. I'm present in this craft. I'm well. I show up. I contribute, and you know that I'm a woman because I approach it different, right? And so I think there's that, and then I think that I practice safety, right? I
Mhm.
don't put myself in compromising situations because there is some things that happen to women that are not. I mean, we may not even have time to unpack, but I practice safety as in I use discretion. I develop relationships with guys who I'm going to be doing work with regularly so that I
Mhm.
know that there's trust and stuff like that there. I tell somebody where I'm going, who I'm with. You know, I mean, there's all those types of things because it's not just in the industry. When you're a music artist, you interface with photographers, videographers. I mean, you got to interface with all these other creatives. And so even even journalists and stuff like that. So I'm not about to meet up with you somewhere random by myself.
Right.
Even if I do come by myself, I trust me, I have things. I am protected. Okay, and so let's just say I am a what side note I am a veteran, so I am trained in an amazing way. So safety, uh, relationship building, networking. I don't try to. Oh, this is a good one. This might help a woman out here somewhere. Oh, let me say this one right here. I do not try to. I don't jock to be in positions with new people and just you just want to climb the ladder and be with these people. You don't have relationship with them and you don't have they don't value you, they don't have respect for you, they don't all that kind of stuff. And so sometimes I feel like women in the industry find themselves in uncompromising situations because they're trying to be with and around people at a table that they really weren't invited to. And so I don't do that. Like if I
Mhm.
find men that I work well with, I can continue that relationship. um carry myself with dignity. I don't over exude a sexual prowess, so that you're not consistently thinking of me as a woman. You think of me as the profession that I am doing. And yeah, I think that's a good three right there. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good ones. So how do you handle the stressful demand of being on the road, being in the studio? Because it can be mentally and emotionally challenging at times.
Right. It can be. I'm like, ooh, child. How do I handle that? I would say I try to be as productive as possible.
Hmm.
So so that I can optimize the time that I have. I know time is the one commodity that we will not be getting back. And so I try to optimize my time. So whenever I'm in productivity mode, I'm getting a lot done, so that it's not like I just have so much to do all the time and it's overwhelming. I can't get it done. I got to do this. I got to do. So I try to be productive, right? I practice time management, and because as an artist, sometimes creatives think they just can do anything whenever inspiration strikes. Like, no, you need a schedule, you need to have a routine, you need to have systems and stuff in place. So I do that. Um, I also believe in rest and Sabbath. I actually take that. I think that that is where I am refreshed and I'm rejuvenated, and my mind kind of comes back to its full clarity, and I'm able to be more productive in the days that I'm not resting. And
Hmm.
I also exercise the power of no. Mhm.
Okay.
No, I cannot do this. No, I cannot do that. Sometimes you just can't do it, because then you'll have too much. And so
Hmm.
sometimes like, oh, it's so demanding, but you're allowing yourself to be overly demanded because you keep saying yes. And so just say no. So rest, say no, and have some systems and some structure in place in your life. And I know it's not easy for artists. And so that's one of the things that I endeavor to teach them as I move forward.
Hmm. Okay, well, someone would look at you and say, "Man, she's doing all this amazing stuff," which you are. She got these Grammys, she's on these stages, and she's rocking with all these people. How do you handle, or what was your challenges getting into the industry? Because it's not always rosy every single day, and people think that because you have made it in their form of making it, that you never had any struggles, and that's just not reality.
It's not reality at all. How was it getting into it? Again, I feel like for me it was kind of easy to get back into it, because yes, like I said earlier, I set it to the side, and then I was gonna pick it back up if time, whenever, right? But I had some friends and some peers and some people in my life, my community speaking into me. But not only did I have the community, whenever I was out and about and I would go out and speak, for example,
Mhm.
I would sprinkle a little bit of my art throughout my speaking. And when I would do that, people in the audience would come up after, would say, I like what you said when you were talking about such and such, but I like the little song part you did. Do you have an album? Do you have you got a CD or any type of something? Because I want to hear more from you, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel like I started doing what I'm doing out of a demand, right? And I
Mhm.
think that's what makes it easier, is because I didn't just say I'm preparing a product for people who don't want it and I'm trying to shove it in somewhere. There was a group of people who were kind of demanding it. And so it was easy for me to like prep a product and say, hey, we're delivering this to this group of people. Also, I collaborated with men and women, and I took pride in my collaborations with women, because I hear all the time, oh, women don't get along, they catty and this and that. For me, I didn't want to be that way, So I collaborated with women. I found them to be ones that weren't like trying to hold me back into getting into space. And then also, I don't really say like I try to be in the industry, like so to speak. And I think that's another thing. Again, jockeying to be somewhere you're not. Like, again, I never was saying I'm about to give me a Grammy. I'm about to give me a, like, I was just trying to be excellent at my art and be professional and run my artistry and my business well. And wherever that falls, that's where it falls. And so the music industry, as has been said, is one of the most, it could be a toxic space. And so I wasn't really trying to just be in the industry, but
Mhm.
what I was trying to do is learn. I had to learn a little bit about it so that I can know how to operate in it. But I wasn't really trying to be in it. I was trying to, again, have a product and a service and serve a particular group of people,
Mhm.
right? And so when you do that, I think it goes well for you. Take, for example, somebody who's a caterer and they cook. They're not trying to be in the food industry, right? They're just literally trying to take this product, these cupcakes or this food or whatever they make, and there's just people who just keep asking for it and they just keep delivering it and they keep
Mhm.
delivering it and they keep delivering. Kind of like Sweeties or something like that. I think there was a show called Sweetie Pies. She just kept cooking. That thing just grew and grew, and the next thing you know, you are in a restaurant and you are a part of the industry. But that may not. Sometimes I don't know if that needs to be your focus. I think it's an easier road where it feels like less resistance because
Mhm.
I'm not trying to serve an industry. I'm trying to serve people.
Okay. So in serving these people, you have not experienced any struggles?
I have. I mean, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I don't focus on it or it's not like enough to feel like, man, it's just been so overwhelming. Oh, okay. I'll give you, okay. At some point, as you serving people, I go back to my the analogy with sweetie pies and even being myself. You get to a point where like I've outgrown cooking in my kitchen. I need to be able to have a restaurant. I need to have this and that. Now here I am with this hot product. You know, these sweetie pies swinging off the shelf. This soul food is going crazy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have the capital to buy a building, buy land, do construction, do this and that. And so that's where you have to come into like some investors or some other people may have to come in place who are going to believe in you to help you scale whatever you started into said industry. And I think that's where I've received the most struggle. I think a lot of people have seen me that are who are in position
Mhm.
to invest in me, and all investment is not all financial, but they, for whatever reason, one reason or another, and most of them have been males, I will say this, they have not chosen to move forward with making the final investment. I mean, they'll spend time, we'll get investment, we'll do things, we'll put music out, we'll, all that kind of stuff, but they may not like make that final investment. And I think that their drawback, I won't say I think that, I know, because I've been on phone calls with labels, indie labels as well as major labels, and they'll tell me that yeah, but do you really, like, we think you hot, I think you hot, I think you're good, but do you really think that the audience out there really wants to hear from a woman who's not over sexualized in her content? Do you really think that they want to hear from somebody who's conscious? And so in doing that, I don't know if they know it, but they are suppressing the people who are not that, because you keep assuming that the audience doesn't want it. Well, in reality, we won't know what the audience wants until you come out with the McRib, McDonald's. I'm just using it as an example, but like, people may love it. People may really, really enjoy this,
Mhm.
but you keep assuming that they're not. And so to me, I feel like from an industry perspective, now still a group of people who regularly book my services, who regularly patronize my music, the people I'm serving. But from an industry perspective, I feel like several times. I feel like, let me see, one, two, three, four. I've come across 5 independent labels, 1 major label that I've been in conversation with, and they all kind of had that same thing. Like, well, do you think it's like viable? Are we going to be able to make money off of it? Because it's
Mhm.
not going to be a large group of people who are going to want this. And I really think I think it's trash, because at some point before there was uh, 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 Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim, there was also Lauren Hill and there was also Queen Latifah. And I'm trying to think of, I'm not saying that those women are not
Mhm.
beautiful and may not have a sensual side of even what they present, but that's not the aim and focus. And
Right.
so before there were that type of artists, or even alongside there, why can't it exist all at once? At
Yeah.
one particular time, Salt and Pepper was out, and Eve was out, and Raw Digger was out, and you know what I mean? And they were all from a diaspora. Right now, I think that, and I would say for the past couple of years, see, you didn't ask me about what got my blood boiling, and I ain't gonna be able to stop. But for the past couple of years, there's just been this over emphasis on this one type of female artist. And
Mhm.
I do think, I'm
Okay.
not saying that there's anything wrong with that particular space per se, because any everybody deserves to be able to tell their story, and there's a group of people who probably can identify that. But what I will say, what is wrong is to continue to suppress the voices that don't fit that mold, because there's also a group of people who will be able to identify with that, and I think they would be able to identify with me, but for whatever reason they assume that they won't, and they'll brag, oh, she is all that, she this, that, and the third, and maybe even do a little investments, but deep down inside they just feel like if it ain't sexy, it ain't selling.
Right.
And I think that that's stopping my putting a cap on the reach that I could potentially have, and even the impact that I could have. Because do we want our women and young girls to always think everything is about being sexy? Yes, that's a one aspect of being a woman, but there's a whole other gambit. There's more nuance. And why, when it comes to men, can we have conscious rappers and all of that? And then you have the explicit rappers, right? Everybody not too short and Luke. Everybody's not that type of the baby. There are people who are from the male diaspora who are rap wise, who are conscious, who are lyrical, who are political, who are activists, like you have Commons and all that kind of stuff. Why can't we have that from a female perspective? And so I've experienced that, and that is frustrating, and it is tough. I will say it hasn't stopped me. So it hasn't stopped me, and that's the thing, but it is frustrating.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate. I think it is what the industry is doing right now is they are driven by what's selling right now, and it's like they act like there's nothing else. It has to be only
You
this
gotta be this.
of music. This is you ain't twerking, and ain't nothing wrong with twerking, but
Right.
you ain't got twerk every song, So
And every artist don't have to be twerk. Like, can we
yeah,
not enjoy this person for like?
yeah,
I don't think people in like for real. Lauryn Hill was like so super dope and still tours today.
yeah,
I don't think she was twerking. You know what I'm saying? And people were able to get into that. So I
yeah,
don't think like I think people know how to appreciate. I don't know if the men that I've come across or just men in the industry don't understand that women are far more maybe even nuanced than y'all are giving us credit for. Like we can support Cardi B at the same time as supporting Rap City. I'm listening to them for two totally different perspectives,
right, right,
and then I can support a ShySpeaks, right, from a whole different perspective. And
yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. So I feel like that's frustrating, and the way I deal with it is I continue to um find ways to continue to monetize what I have going on without said industry investment, right?
Mhm,
I've got to figure out ways to invest in myself. I got to figure out,
mhm.
I strive to continue to figure out ways to serve the audience that I currently have.
Right,
And in doing so, that has kept me, what people will say, pretty successful.
right. You've created your own lane and you're opening your own doors and everything. I totally respect it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So why is it important to know the business in music? Because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, that goes to really into what you and I are talking about. For me, I realize this. In order to be an artist, you do not have to be, let me say it like this. In business, there are different levels of business. There's like a internal business, like a small business just by one person by themselves, tax preparer or something. Then there's a small mom and pop shop. Then there are like mid like small medium sized companies. You got a few employees,
Mhm,
and then there's like Fortune 100 companies, and then there are Fortune 300 companies, and then there are Fortune 500 corporations, right? And I think that within artistry, we are all taught that you really not doing it unless you Fortune 500, when in reality there are people who run a small business and they may not even be like Fortune 100, but them and several a group of people are eating regularly, their salaries are supported, and that company is contributing and doing good to a particular world. And so I think that I don't I don't have to feel bad about myself. Let's say, for example, I'm a mom and pop shop. right? There are some mom and pop shops that are ran as just that one only, but it's ran so well. They understand the business so well. They know what their product is. They know the local market that they serve. They know the people that they're trying to reach out to. They're
Mhm.
always innovating, or they're always consistent with what they do present, and all of that kind of stuff is what ties into business. And as long as they do that well, they'll be the shop that they will be successful,
Mhm.
right? If you're a small business, even indie 550 or whatever, not even a 100 company,
Mhm.
as long as you know, understand your sales, understand your and have a structure, have some systems in place, you have a business. And as long as you have a business with continuous sales, continuous systems, processes, structure, and all that kind of stuff, like, then I don't have to be Walmart to feel like I have a successful business. I can be Sweetie Pies, like I was just talking about earlier. She may only have one or two stores, but it's booming. It's booming so much that it had a show on TV. And so what I'm saying is, she may not be McDonald's, but she's Sweetie Pies. And
Mhm.
that food is going the whole time because they run it well. I'm saying that because as an artist, if I know how to run business, I don't need to be signed to a label for them to businessify my art for me.
Mhm.
I can businessify my own art. Like, I know how to kind of set some structure in place for a marketing system, a sales system. I have a team of people that I know how to work with. I don't need somebody else to come in and say, "Well, I'll do the business, you do the art." No, I think artists need to understand how to do the business as well, because then you're not waiting on anybody else to have to fund you to help give you the business. You are the business.
Mhm.
So,
I love it. I love it. Very, very well said too. So
thank you.
you are also you are working on a project with women in sports. You have a song coming out called Wings. Or did you already do it? Did you already?
Hey, it's coming out. It's coming
Okay.
out next. It's gonna be the song releases on March 4th,
Okay.
and it's a jam. And that's why I was like, hey. Speaking of women in sports, I talked about that earlier, being an artist, advocate, and an activist all in once, right? And so one of the things that we see is injustice with gender. There's a disparity sometimes we see between women, the accolades and the attention and the media attention, even the pay that women sports get versus what men sports get.
Mhm.
And same sport. So I'm just trying to see how, you know, but anyway, we see that. And so I want to speak to that. And I see it trickling down even in girls basketball.
Mhm.
There is a team here in Dallas, well, in the DFW Metroplex, and they won the state championship last year. They're on track to win this year. I think they're like had a winning season, like 19-1, only
Mhm.
lost one. I mean, I think they're just having a phenomenal season. And I don't see the local media and getting behind it and pushing. I don't see enough people talking about it. Meanwhile, if this was a boy team, oh, people would be ranting and raving about it, right?
Mhm.
And so I guess that's the activist in me, and then that's that, and then the advocate in me. I want to advocate for these young girls, and so I'm dedicating this song "Wings" to this team because they are the DeSoto Eagles. The DeSoto girls basketball team are the Eagles. Of course, the Eagles got wings, and the song says, "I got the wings, it's the wings, I got the wings, yeah, yeah." But anyway, it's a jammer, and I'm really really excited about it. We actually shot a music video. We're incorporating the girls, and we're gonna try to put as much attention on not just this song, but
Mhm.
on this cause as
Mhm.
possible.
Okay. So can you tell everybody how they can reach you, how they can support you and everything?
Yes. Okay. So people can reach me at, I would always say, tell people to go by my website, ShySpeaks.com, because it's the hub for everything. And
Mhm.
from there, you can figure out, you can see how to get my latest project for free if you subscribe to my email list. That's only on my website. And of course, you can tap over to my socials. And I'm on social media at everywhere at ShySpeaks. And that's ShySpeaks. And yeah, let's listen to the music. And of course, if you're an independent artist and you want to know more about all these systems and structure and all that kind of stuff that I've been talking about, tap in with me because I'm working on something exclusively to help you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank you so much for being a part of Transparency Talks podcast. We talked about a lot of great things and you gave
Yeah.
great advice. So, with that being said, everyone, we are out of here.
All right. Peace out.